Hello, in this video I'm going to go through my currently inked pens for the month of May 2023. There is no particular theme with this one, just a new pen and plus some pens that I hadn't inked in a while, so I thought I'd ink them up and give them a try for the month of May. First up we have the Narwhal Voyage, and this is the New Orleans model. A Tibaldi N60 Bora, Maiora Impronte, Truphae exclusive, a TWSBI Eco Rose Gold, a Kaweco Original, a Sheaffer Intrigue, Waterman CF, a Moonman or Majohn S5, a Otto Hutt Design 06, and a Cross Peerless 125. So I'm going to go through each of these and talk about the ink a little bit and the pens themselves. Let's zoom in. So the first pen is the Narwhal Voyage. This is a piston filler, a good size pen. It has the New Orleans Mardi Gras theme color to it. Has a steel nib. It's plain old steel nib. Nice ink window. So it's a nice wet writer. Very smooth, nice wet writer. So this is the Narwhal Voyage. It's New Orleans. And this is a fine steel nib. And the ink in here is Private Reserve. This is Infinity Violet. So it's a nice writer. I've forgotten how nice it writes because I hadn't inked it up in a while. It writes in reverse. Very nice pen. It's not my favorite shape, but it is a nice pen. Holds a good amount of ink. The only thing I don't like is the clip does kind of wobble back and forth a little bit, but very nice pen all in all. So this is the Tibaldi N60 Bora. This is a nice blue with some rose gold trim. And there's the nib. This is a cartridge converter filler. With also some rose gold in there. This is my only Tibaldi. It does post nicely. The Narwhal does not post. This is also a nice smooth wet writer. So it's a Tibaldi N60 Bora. This is a medium steel nib. It felt a little cumbersome with the cap on, so it feels a little bit better unposted. So the ink in here is J. Arbonne, Emerald, de Chevaux, any excuse to use that ink, I will. This is just another beautiful writer. No issues with this shimmering ink. But that's the Tibaldi N60. Next we have the Maiora Impronte, and this is a Truphae exclusive. I think it's limited to 250. This does have a blind cap, but it is also a cartridge converter. It also posts very nicely, has a nice grip there. I really like grips that are like this that I can kind of dig my fingers into. There's the steel nib. And again, it just says Maiora, Italy, and then Truphae limited edition on the side there. And here's the converter. Simple converter, says Maiora on it. And it's extra long because it's a blind cap. So Maiora. Scoot up a little bit. Impronte. Truphae. Limited edition. And the ink in here, oh, this is a fine steel. And the ink in here is Monteverde. California teal. And this is the California teal. It seems like it gets a bit darker as the longer it sits in the pen for some reason, but no complaints. I like the color of this ink. This is a firm nib. Reverse, not doing too much in reverse. But other than that, it's a very good pen. Because it's a Truphae, this came in my Truphae box. And I'm not a big fan of the cracked ice, but I really love the way the pen writes. So, yeah, it's been a reliable pen. So next we have a good old TWSBI. This is a TWSBI Eco Rose Gold, Smoking Rose Gold. Rose gold. This is also a fine steel, and that's the nib. It's a piston filler, holds a ton of ink, and the ink that I have in here is Monteverde. This is Copper Noir. So beautiful pen, nice writer. There is some give in the nib, but no line weight variation. It's not a particularly firm nib. This is just a nice all-around pen. This has been a good month for the pens. Really, no complaints with any of these pens. Really, well, maybe one. There's a little bit of a complaint, but there's a good old reliable TWSBI Eco. And get another page here. So next it's going to be the Kaweco Original. So this is the Kaweco Original. I did a review of this pen a while back when I first got it. It doesn't really post. There's the nib. This is a 250. One of the bigger size nibs. So switch to my left hand. Kaweco Original. The number 250 nib. And the nib is a fine steel. And the ink is Tatcha Sabi Midori. It's another nice teal colored ink. This nib also has some bounce to it, but no line weight variation. It's okay in reverse. It's a little scratchy, but if you want to do some cross hatching, it is possible with this. So that's the Kaweco original. Very reliable pen. Fairly reasonable price as well. Just a very nice, sleek, simple pen. And this next pen, this is a pen I saw on Eugen Borcan. Hope I'm saying his name right, but Eugen has a nice YouTube fountain pen channel as well. He produces very nice fountain pen videos, and he also does drawings at the end, which I really enjoy. So I saw this on his channel, and I was right away I was like, oh, I really want that. And so luckily it just happens to be the same model that he had was on eBay, so I was able to pick this up. This is a very interesting pen. It's a kind of a piston puller as well, but you have to pull this up and then turn it in order to fill it. The only thing is I have no idea how much, of course, the ink there is in here, so I do tend to run out a lot. This pen reminds me quite a bit of my Pilot Namiki Silverin. They look very much alike, and they write pretty similar as well. They both have medium nibs. So this is the Sheaffer Intrigue. I think I'm running low on ink, and this is a medium 14 karat. And the ink that I have in here is the same ink that I use in the Pilot Silverin, and that is Pilot Iroshizuku. Kujaku, which is another nice blue-green. And this it has bounce and a little bit of a line weight variation. It's more of a shading effect, I think. I think I'm going to continue to write with this a bit for June. I need to add a little bit more ink, but I definitely want to write with this a little bit more, I think. Iron out some of the kinks, because it's been skipping, so I may not have filled it right from the start. And I remember the first time that I bought it, there was no skipping, so I definitely need to check on that. So this is a Sheaffer USA, the switch cameras. So what I was saying is that when I first bought this, I wasn't having any issues with skipping, but this recent fill for this month, for some reason I'm getting quite a bit of skipping. So I cleaned out the tines and everything, so I'm hoping I'm just a little low on ink. So that's the only thing, and it's just been this month that I've been having issues with some skipping with this pen, but normally it's been pretty reliable. So next we have the Waterman CF750. And this is one of the smoothest pens that I have. It's a vintage pen, CF750. CF just means cartridge converter filler. And this is the 750 refers to the 18 karat gold. It is a fine 18 karat gold nib. Just so smooth. Such a nice pen to write with. Again, no real line weight variation. It is a pretty thin pen, but I like the gold that goes all the way down here. And it's a tiny nib, but it's pretty flexy. And and this is on fumes as well. Barely any ink left in there. But I can't say how smooth this is. Just something that you have to feel. And it's not one of those really slippery smooths. It's just a nice smooth writer. Some pens are so smooth that they feel like they're gonna slip, but this is not like that. It's just really nice. One of my best writers. So the ink in here is Waterman Intense Black. So that's the Waterman CF. It is a pretty thin pen, but nice. And next up is the Moonman S5. Got this on Amazon. It does post pretty nicely. So the Waterman. This is a nice writing pen. It does have a little bit of feedback, but this isn't extra fine. Steel nib. The ink. The ink is Waterman Inspired Blue. This is a beautiful blue with nice shading to it. One of my favorite Waterman inks. And this is a really firm nib, so there's no flex or bounce or anything with that. Just a nice smooth writer with just a tad bit, perfect amount of feedback, I think. So that's the Moonman S5. Tiny little nib there. This is a eyedropper filler, so holds a good amount of ink. Next pen is the Otto Hutt Design 06, and I do have a review of this pen as well somewhere on my channel. Another cartridge converter filler. It's a nice matte finish to it, so it feels pretty good in the hand. And also it also has a nice grip section here that's pretty comfortable. It doesn't get very slippery. I don't post it because I don't want to scratch the mat. So this is the Otto Hutt Design 06. Another very nice writer. And this is a fine steel nib. When I inked this up for the month, for some reason I was thinking it was a gold nib, but it is a steel nib pen. And the ink in here is Pilot Iroshizuku Yamabudo. Some bounce. Scratchy in reverse, but it does work. I think it would rip up your paper if you were looking to draw with it. But this is a very nice pen. It's a little on the pricey side for what it is, but it's very, very well made. There's a nice clip there. Very well made, very sturdy. And the matte finish has held up well in my case, so there's no shiny spots or any scuffing or anything. So very well made pen. And this pen I just did a review on. Yeah, it was my last video. This is a Cross Peerless 125. And I'm getting used to this zoom nib the more that I use it, especially with this ink. And this is a zoom. It's a Sailor 18 karat. And the ink in here is beautiful Birmingham Pen Company ink. Birmingham Pen Company Blue Bonnet. This nib is so smooth. As I said in my, look at this, that's the Blue Bonnet. Reminds me a lot of their Tesla coil ink. So what I said in my review video of this is that the zoom nib, I really didn't like how thick it wrote. I really don't like to go above medium nibs. I prefer a thinner nib. But the way it feels with this ink is just really, it is really nice to write with. And as I said in my review video, you do get a lot of line weight options. The more you place it horizontal, and then once you go vertical, it gets thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. So it's a very, it does flex, but it's a very flexible nib as far as line weight variations. So I've been really enjoying this Cross Peerless. It is it's a lot lighter than it looks. Sure, it looks like a heavy pen, but it's not. So that's a Cross Peerless. If you'd like to know more, you can check out my review video. Beautiful pen. But that's all I have for the month of May. Thank you all for joining me today. Hope you're all doing well, and I will catch you next time. Take care.